Hey, what's going on, everybody? Golden here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use Billy's Rushdown build. Now, of course, this is another build that I purposely made specifically for myself, but if you guys are interested in using this build, I have it right here. Of course, I'm going to put the build ID in the description. I'm going to be going over Billy, his moveset, and also the build that I have here that I have custom made for. So Billy is a goat with an SMG, very rebellion, and his entire playstyle is based off of melee. As you can see here through his moveset, very melee based. So obviously with Billy and just the build in general, we're going for damage. It's basically a rush down build. You want to rush your enemies down and just like that. So of course we have slow bullets on, you know, okay, I know this looks like shit, okay, but it's the best that I could do. So here we have the early game. We're obviously going for a melee-based build here, and we're also going something for like speed and stuff like that. So basically this whole build is for survivability and also, you know, melee attacks. So don't expect anything too crazy in the gun department, as most of this is, you know, specifically made for just melee attacks and also rushing down. If you want, you could probably just remove the, you know, compress cooldown here and add like a whole thing where you could get, you know, more spirit damage based off of that. In fact, we're actually going to add that to this build right now. So as you can see here, I just added this as kind of like an extra option. But if, so Billy, again, as I said, is a melee-based character. So what we're going to go for is we're going to be building up his melee damage and also just his speed in general. So you could just, you know, do stuff like this.
You can't scare me, Seven.
So we just go for the full build here. As I said in the last video, this isn't going to be 100% accurate. Only because the enemy might have more health and so on. So you could possibly get cooked here. So with Billy's 3 blasted ability here, basically what you want to do is kind of use this as, you know, it amplifies the damage that he does. So, you know, we're able to kill 7 here just like that with the SMG, but not because of that. So kind of the main thing that we're going for here is like melee and something like using his 2 ability, which you're very easily able to spam after you get the, you know, first thing over here. So usually what I like to do is that, and as you can see there, we're already doing mass amounts to 7 over here. So that's 300. Of course, if, you know, we had, you know, the blasted on, we'd be doing like a lot more damage. So I'm going to show you like an example of how much damage you're doing. 356, 420. So we're basically doing spirit damage and normal physical damage there. And one combo I would definitely recommend to use would be melee, horn, melee again once you're in the air, and then the slam to finish things off. So the gun build that we're going for here is basically like, yeah, let's do a little bit damage, but let's also get slowing bullets. And as you can see here, we also have extra stamina and enduring speed. This way you're able to kind of catch up to your enemies, which is going to be a lot harder to do since this character is quite slow, surprisingly. Because they really want you to go into, you know, using his charging abilities like that. So that's kind of why I also have like slowing bullets and all that stuff on. So Billy is pretty good with crowd control. You could tell by his ult that's basically how he plays. He's, again, almost like Holiday, just like Doorman, but only in his ult. So yeah, you basically just want to do that. You basically want to get as in, you know, as in many melee heat. You basically want to get as many melee hits as possible in with Billy, while also comboing his Rising Ram and Bashdown ability. Of course, using Blasted is going to be your best option, only because it deals extra damage to the enemies, as you can see here. You get extra bonus health and stuff like that. And I would only really use the ult if you are in, I don't know, like a lane, I would use it just like how Holiday would use it to either bring, other enemies close to you or, to the walker itself or the guardian, just so he could deal extra damage. But he is a really good character. I just think that a lot of people don't know how to play him as of right now, so it's very difficult for people to kind of get in, as him just because they don't know what they're doing. But yeah, even if we want to take off like the entire superior cooldown here and go for Boundless Spirit, we are going to be doing so much more damage only because Boundless Spirit is amplifying our spirit damage here, or our spirit strike for, our melee hits and stuff like that. Which, is pretty cool. Pretty cool. So Spirit Stat, of course, that... So you're gonna be doing like a shit ton of damage with Billy. That's just basically how he works. He's just like a better version of Abrams, where he's more, rush down and control based. Because Abrams is, although more area control, and I don't know, Abrams is weird. Abrams is a certainly weird character, but nonetheless, he's pretty good. Of course, we do have some items, again, for survivability on Billy, so obviously, if you guys want to take this layout here that you see and maybe edit it to your own thing, you could do that as well. But, yeah, that's just what I personally recommend for using Billy. He isn't really the craziest character, but he certainly is a really good character, and I still have yet to truly kind of test him out in the game. But after using his kit, it is pretty hard to take down hazes, but other characters are more, light breezes to take care of, especially, as I've been saying this entire time, using Bash as well. So again, this isn't like an accurate representation, and of course you need to be careful while playing as Billy, because people could obviously, use their fucking... So yeah, you gotta be very specific with the timing on Billy, because even with his light hits, he does do a pretty decent amount of damage. I mean, that just killed 7 right there, so... if you're going crazy with the combos, like, even like a hard hit like that, look at that. Already down to 1 HP just like that. Mostly because, again, you have, like, the crushing fist damage, all this type of stuff. So yeah, just gotta be careful, but definitely use the SMG to pick off enemies and get them low enough to be able to ram like that. That's going to be your best bet when using Billy.